love you guys. Dance off, bro. I have the high ground. Expecto Patronum! 39 days. What people want. Survive.
On the Tribe of Nerds.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Matt, Michael, and I are here with another survivor from Survivor South Africa, Philippines. We got Chane with us. Welcome, Chane, to the Tribe of Nerds.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is exciting. So to kick it off, when did you start watching Survivor and how did you get on the show?
Well, Survivor, I watched it since I was about in university, and then I was a fan. But South Africa Survivor actually had like a big pause. Like they stopped filming for about, I think, 6 years, and then I followed the American one and the Australian one. But and then in 2018 I saw they having auditions. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, what are the odds they're going to choose me? I mean, I come from like the smallest town. so I did my video, I uploaded it, and I got in. That was insane.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. I think the part of the reason why I entered is I really think that Survivor does challenge you. And I felt like my life was stagnant. It's weird. Like I thought I'd get an awakening of some sort. I don't know what I was thinking. And please note, I do not camp, so I don't know. I thought there would be an element of it being a bit fake. If you get, like, surely they won't watch you suffer that much. Like there'd be a sandwich thrown in there now and again. Completely, I was so wrong. They like to watch you suffer. So it was ridiculous. I was in over my head. I really was.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know that it comes across on television as much, like how much you guys are suffering out there. So
yes, it's insane.
Well, that kind of leads into my first question is, after you got cast on the show, did you do any kind of mental or physical prep? Because you just said you've never gone camping, so.
Well, I thought I was prepping. I ran like around the block to maybe work on my physical fitness. Oh my word, it was so embarrassing, the amount of prepping I did. But and then I did some like a vegetarian diet to make me used to get like less calories in it, which is also the worst thing I could have done. So I came on the show hungry, and then I was starving by the end. It was horrible.
So the game starts and you have 2 minutes to collect supplies before getting onto a raft and racing to shore for ice. Did you have any strategy when you went into that challenge, and how did it affect your dynamic going onto the beach, losing that challenge and not having any rice?
Can I tell you, like, I watched Cody's episode or with you guys, and then it's so true. So you're sitting there while Nico's talking and you're like looking around and you have all these plans in your head. And then when he said go, it was like utter chaos. Like I didn't even know where I was running to, but I was just running. I don't know. You're like, I can't explain it. It's actually like this whole instinct thing that kicks in, but I didn't see much. But I threw down the coconut, almost hit. I almost decapitated someone. I know that. It was a bit horrible. And there's someone, I can't remember who, but we got these bread rolls. It was completely soaked. Wasn't a great idea. But come, I tell you, we ate them. It was horrible. So there was no strategy. We just tried to grab whatever we could. And then it was disheartening not winning the rice, because also you're going into half, it's a negative into reaching your beach, which is not nice. And that the losing streak, because we were Luzon, we were losing the whole time. It was so horrible. The name is so befitting.
Yeah.
So I think that set us up for what's to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and in Survivor history, there's been 2 tribes named Luzon, the other one in U.S. Survivor, Cagayan,
Yes.
and both Luzon tribes have been train wrecks in the beginning. So,
Curse. And let me tell you, our beach was a pure shithole. It was like, it was so bad. There were like no supplies. It was like dingy, and it was raining, it was wet. There was no like proper sunlight. It was horrible.
oh, geez. Yeah, well, so on that original Luzon tribe, what were the original dynamics like for you guys?
So obviously, at first when we arrived, it was nice. Tom made a few jokes like he was a class clown and tried to like lighten the mood. And then Annelies took on this motherly role, since in real life she does catering. Her husband owns the events company, so she's like, no, she'll set up the food. So immediately she took on that mother role, and then I was kind of just assessing the situation. And seeing who I can partner with. So Josie and Seamus, they teamed up immediately. So we were kind of just hanging around, chilling, and then trying to fit in. It's so weird because you don't actually want to offend anyone or speak too much or speak too little. I think I'm a overthinker. So I was trying to, is this going to annoy someone? Because you don't want to be put on anyone's radar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think the dynamics were all right for arriving on the beach. But then we did the first immunity. I don't want to jump now, but yeah, the immunity challenge, and then we lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was horrible, because now where Mindanao had this whole kumbaya, they like coming off a high, and they really got to bond. We had to be like, who's my enemy? Who are we going to get out? So we had to really scramble, and there was no time to actually like get to know one another. We were like, okay, on whose alliance are you? And set the boundaries and like really scramble.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we didn't bond actually that much, which it was sad, because Luzon was like, we were fighting. It was gloves off the whole time.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
You do go to the first tribal council, and you're responsible for a huge move straight away. You originally align with Seamus, with Annalise, and then you end up giving him the blind side that he was looking for and taking out Seamus instead. So walk us through that crazy first tribal council.
Come, I tell you. So I'm actually such a big softie. They never showed it. So I was bawling my eyes out. I felt so bad because Seamus came up to me. He's like, no, we're going to work together. But he wanted to get Tom out. Now, part of my strategy was to kind of hide behind a loud, big guy, because I know everyone focuses on the bigger men because they see them as challenge threats. And Tom was an extra bonus because he's very loud. So obviously they'll first look at him before looking at me. So now Tom is also, he was our only provider fishing wise. So now I'm thinking, I did not get my secret sandwich off camera. And I was thinking, if this guy goes out, I'm going to really die. So we're like, that was really my thinking. I think I was so motivated food-wise. So then I was like, okay, no. And I had this idea, and I was like, okay, Annalise, if we can really work together and maybe she speak to Ace, because I wasn't speaking to Ace that much yet, and then try and convince him to vote with us. And then I did that, and then freaking Tom, what an idiot. When I told him my plan, he goes up to them like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
I don't know. Half of the time I was just like, I had to compose myself so much. But anyway.
Yeah, Tom was a bit of a wild card.
That's what I wanted to say. So in the confessionals, they couldn't use me because I was crying so much because I felt so bad that I was blindsiding this guy, and he was like so excited, and balls to the wall about this game, and he was gonna be a good player. Let me tell you that. So yeah, but whatever. At least it wasn't me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it was probably good for you in the long run because you got out a guy that was mobilizing a lot of people like together because he already had 3 other people on his side. So
exactly. And I could see he wasn't a loyal person. He was going to be the villain. And so it's rather the devil you know than the one you don't, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So after that first crazy tribal, Luzon keeps losing because they don't have rice or secret sandwiches. So you go back to tribal, and then in one of the craziest tribals ever, there is a tie in the second episode, and you guys decide to draw rocks, and Neil goes after that. So walk us through that one.
Can I tell you, I wanted to punch Ace so badly. Ace, do you know what his problem is there? He's in now after the show. We obviously got to know each other and stuff, but Ace is the sweetest guy. Like, he wouldn't hurt a fly. And he was such a big Survivor fan, but I think that was his downfall. He was overthinking everything. Like, look, everyone's overthinking and everyone's super paranoid, but like, he was level 150. So I think that was his downfall, because then he was like, okay, because he would speak to me and he'd be like, okay, but what about this? What about this? He wanted to get Tom out immediately. The problem is also we are losing challenges. So obviously we needed the bigger guys for the taller challenges and stuff. So I wasn't agreeing with what he's saying. I could have handled better instead of just being like, oh, that's a stupid idea. Don't do that. I should have been like, oh, let's think about it and talk through it, which I didn't do, which I really hate. But anyway, so then Ace jumps ship, goes to Josie, and then. So then we were, like I said, we were not friends. Like, the 2 alliances were not friends. And we knew it was going to be deadlocked. And both of our different alliances, we were just like not budging, which is so dumb. Yeah. After I picked that rock, I was like, this is the stupidest thing I have done in my life. I was shaking.
Yeah. And so was Neil.
Yeah.
Neil gets elected leader of
Yes, but that's what I say. So Survivor is definitely a game of strategy, but it's such a game of luck as well. I mean, just if it would have been Josie or Ace that picked the rock, I mean, it could have swayed everything much more. So now it had to be someone from my alliance. Now we have to scramble again, start from, it was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, if Neil doesn't pick the rock, I actually think Neil goes pretty decently far into the game. So it was a huge shock.
I think so. Neil, I know he doesn't seem like he made an impact, but he can connect with, he was very like chilled and listen to everyone. So I think socially that part, almost like a father figure. So I think socially that part would have helped, because he was really just like this. He wasn't annoying anyone. He was just there, but he was helping. So yeah.
Right. That helps.
Yes, it does.
So then at the balance beam challenge, the next episode, so Tom notices the immunity idol and instructs you to retrieve it for him, saying that's his idol. And what was your relationship with Tom like, especially after he was repeatedly calling you his best friend?
Oh my word. I must tell you, so till then it was okay. Then after he shouted and said, that's mine, I knew that's where it's slowly like, okay, I see you. I know where this is going. So I'm trying to guide you into the right areas, because I'm basically shadow. But I saw he was out there for himself, which is fair. This is Survivor. But I was such an idiot. I shouldn't have given it to him. But also, on the other hand, I was like, okay, every single one knows that I would have the idol or Tom. So I didn't want that target on my back, because we were so unbalanced at that point. Mm-hmm. So rationally, that was what's going on in my brain. Yeah, looking back, I should have kept it.
Yeah, I was very surprised you didn't. And I was very surprised how bold he was just to be like, "This is mine." It's like, no.
But that gives you an indication of how he was actually like. He was so loud and boisterous and like demanding, and that's kind of the turning point. That was the turning point where it started to like really annoy me. But I was trying to just keep calm because really I don't want to make a scene. I need him for numbers. Survivor, it really tests you. Remember, in each tribe there are people, like if you could list 9 people or 9 character traits that really annoy you, that is what you get on your tribe. I promise you. It's obviously to make TV more interesting or whatever. So you have to really like grow as a person or challenge yourself to stay calm in situations where you would have usually like lost it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next stage of the game, the tribe swap happens and 2 tribes break into 3 tribes. So what was your thoughts on your new tribe with Tom, Plessis, Vusi, and Mariska?
I was like, you couldn't make this shit up because we were like so divided. And now you have this one person that we have to like really lick their ass because I really tried. I freaking Mariska, I was sucking up so bad. I don't know. And was the one thing where we were lucky. So Mariska whispered to me, so because we could choose what beach to go to or whatever. So we discussed, but I think we were third to choose. And then luckily Annalise, because she's the cook, she left all her spices on that shithole beach. And she's like, so she told the people, so she told Seven and them, no, she has these lovely spices. I don't know what she was going to spice because you can't catch anything there. But so then they chose that beach. So I told Mariska, please, I don't know what your beach was like because we returned to their old beach. And then I was like, but I promise you it's better. And it was like paradise. So that was a bit of a silver lining and not going to that other beach. But so when we arrived, Mariska, so I'm trying to play it cool, walking around, picking up sticks, making a fire, like all kumbaya. Now we have to kind of, I think we were still enemies, Plessis and Vusi and me and Tom. So obviously Plessis and Vusi are feeding their side of the story to Mariska, like Tom is this, Tom is that. They didn't have a problem with me. So now I'm like, oh shit. Now, do I now jump ship? It's not going to help. Tom is an idol. I'm in the line of fire. It was horrible. It was horrible. I was stressing so much. They didn't show it, but I was like picking up shells, trying to get Mariska and like explaining to her, if we do this and if we do that, I'll go with them because that side, Kevin and PK and Tony and Mariska, they were all in the alliance and they were going to stay in Mindanao strong. So I was like, okay, so if Plessis and Vusi and I go with them, then then we can get our Tom eventually. But either way, if we had to lose, then I was gonna go because Mariska ended up siding with Plessis and Vusi after Tom shouted at her on the beach. So I was just like, can you please just keep quiet? I was just trying to put out fires, but it was not helping. But there, Tom said, oh, sorry, but, he has a target on his back, so he's not going to play the idol for me. And he wasn't even, so there, things turned completely for me. I was like, screw you. And then this is now how it works. So that's why I say Survivor is also a game of luck. If Mariska did not want to go home, I was going to be out. Definitely. So Tom wasn't even willing to consider playing it for me as kind of a what do you call it? Sorry, English is my second language. I used to think.
Just to play it for you to save you.
It's like a mirage or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, so then I ditched Tom because after that, me assessing the other tribe, it was going to look like PK and Tevin and Tony and them are strong, and they keep on winning, so we keep on losing. So I thought, okay, because by then, Plessis and Lucy and I, we really got along well. So they were like making eyes at Tevin and PK. Like we were like, oh, okay, maybe if we merge, then we'll have this. So numbers wise, in my brain, I was like, okay, I can ditch Tom. And then if we do this whole thing, the eyes thing, then we'll have the numbers. Anyways, that was my thinking then, but we'll get to it. So then we started winning, which is weird. And I'm so thankful, come I tell you. So at first at Luzon, we were rationing our very gross blue bread and bananas we had. So we were rationing for about 15 days. And then for 5 days on that new Paradise Beach, we did not have food, like at all. So, I mean, that win came as a blessing, I'm telling you.
Well, I actually have 2 questions now. Since you brought up food and you kept winning, one of the things that was shown a lot on the season was your disdain for Tom during these rewards. So if you can talk about that, just so.
I hate the producers want to say people. I wasn't even aware that I had these facial expressions. So I think when you're so hungry, and people I saw online like disgusted. How can I say this? But when you're so hungry, you're like famished. This guy's like digging into things that are yours. You really get primal, right? You can't help it. You really get primal. So if he's licking the spoon and now ruining this dinner that I starved for, I think that, and it's just his personality. It was just like loud and boisterous, and plus the eating and the digging into people's food, I think it just all added. Oh, I couldn't keep it in anymore.
Yeah, Tom's an interesting character. It would be crazy if he ends up winning at the end. So
yeah, it would be insane, right?
You see, I should have just kept quiet. But I really thought no one who will keep up with this guy. Like they will get rid of him as soon as he lands. I was such an idiot.
Well, I had the same thought while watching it the first time too. It's like, Tom's not going to make it to the end. He's eventually going to get cut. I was wrong.
I don't think anybody knew that was going to happen.
No.
Going back just a little bit, and yet another crazy tribal you're a part of, Plessis pulls out a hidden immunity idol in front of everybody from the stand. It's the first time that has ever happened in Survivor. So can you talk about what that was like to see her just like retrieve the idol in front of everyone?
Oh, that was so badass. And she had the whole shut thing going. She just owned it. I think we were all so shocked. And by that time, luckily, I was in her alliance. So I was very glad.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just sad that I think she won the most idols, but she never played them.
Yeah. 3 idols and she played them all wrong.
Exactly.
Or didn't play them.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It's crazy.
That's
so when you were on this the Visayas tribe, you built up this relationship with Plessis, and you both considered throwing the challenge to get rid of Tom. Walk us through that and your relationship with Plessis.
I think we used to bond and like sing songs and like laugh about our upbringing and stuff. Like South Africa is a very diverse and unique country, definitely, and I think we have some weird characters. So I think our common hatred for Tom also bonded us much quicker than we would. Throwing the challenge, it was ridiculous. So we saw that we might win. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, okay, no, abort mission. So let's just win. Let's just get through this challenge. And then we can move on and hopefully make merch. But now remember I told you we were like looking at the other tribe and we're like, oh, okay, so we have numbers on that side.
Right.
Now, after I made my decision to abort the mission with Tom, all of the other people we were going to align with started falling out. Like Tevin, Josie.
Right.
So it was horrible. So as I was seeing like what a fall, I'm like, oh shit. Now I have to scramble again.
Right. That's disappointing to like look at the other tribes and like have no control over what's happening over there, and then you're seeing people that you can work with just fall.
Exactly, because that was now my game plan. Now I have to think again. So like that's why I say I think I feel for our original Luzon people, because we really had to. It was just a constant fight, or battle to get through every challenge and make it through every tribal. And whereas now Mindanao, we were winning, which is great. It's kudos to them. But I mean, they had like such a nice chill time. I mean, they had so little tribals, so they could actually really enjoy their time. Where we had to I would lie there like playing scenario in my head, thinking about things. I would drive myself crazy. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get to merge, and you get your merge feast, you get a new buff, and you dye your hair a new color. On this podcast, Tony said that she was wanting to work with you, Plessis and Vusi at the merge because she knew you were willing to go to rocks if need be. And Tony says that you gave her the decoy plan of voting for Chane instead of the real plan of Katinka. So yes. What went into all that decision there? Okay,
come I tell you, because I saw that. So it's all about perspective, right? So it was Vusi, Plessis, and I.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the three of us against the 7 of them. It was very clear. They were set in their ways. Obviously, they had the numbers. Who is going to make, I wish they would have, but they're not going to make these rash changes because they're safe. So it was slim pickings. And also getting to merge, we were so proud, we deserved it. I feel like a bit more than others, but we, getting there, so Katinka would make comments like, oh, you guys mustn't drink all the coffee, stupid things like that. So we felt so isolated and half like we don't belong there. It's weird. I mentioned it at tribal council. So she'd be like, oh, don't eat too much rice, if we cooked some. So it was these stupid comments, but it's like, oh, you guys are actually outcast.
Mm-hmm.
So my perspective is, so Tony would come to us and be like, okay, so she's final 3 with Werner. And then I think it was her, Werner, and I think John. I can't remember. But then Katinka would come and be like, oh, okay, it's her, Werner, and Annelies. So now I'm like, okay, so these people are really tight. They are not going to budge. And it was made so obvious. After a challenge, they would lie down and relax. So I was like, okay, there's so little wiggle room for us to work together. So now Tony comes to me and she's like, okay. She's now, oh, okay, sorry, I'm skipping. What happened is that one night after merge, I was lying and PK was sleeping next to me, and I don't know what, I felt so defeated. And then I got up, but it wasn't obviously shown. And then I had a cry on the beach. I felt so sorry for myself because I was trying to wangle everything. And then PK came to me and he was chatting to me a bit. And then I was like, okay, it's just so frustrating that people aren't supposed to work together or willing to work together. And then I was like, but you aren't mentioned in any of the final 3 names. And then I was like, okay, trying to work it. And that's when he now went to Tony to maybe consider coming to Plessis, Vusi, and I. So but Tony was she was like, okay, but Werner this and Werner that. So I'm like, shit. Now, just before travel, she asked me, okay, who are we going to vote for? Now I'm panicking because I'm like, can I really trust her? She's going to run to them because what's also a weird dynamic, they were very open with who they're voting for. So we were always in the old tribe, you lock down, you don't tell anyone anything. They were just like, so it was so weird for me. So I was like, okay, no, I can't tell her because then she's going to tell them it's Katinka that we want to vote off. So I was panicked and I should have trusted her. But I mean, from my perspective, is like, oh, she's with them, she's strong. I can't risk it.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's so weird. So it's all about perspective. So I was so stressed. I knew it was going to be Lucy and then me and then Palesa because she is the idol. I mean, it's a numbers game. It was frustrating because they didn't want to consider anything else, and everyone was believing Werner because he's promising the world to everyone, and everyone is in a different final three, but with him in it. So I don't understand how. I think they were so naive or to think like, oh, he's lying to them and saying, no, they're going to be final three. And then he's lying to them to say they're going to be final three. So I don't know how it didn't get out.
Well, that kind of goes nicely into my next question, is because at the merge tribal, you and Vusi point out that there is a kingpin of the Blue Bloods. So what were your thoughts on Werner and how he was able to basically control the entire tribe and get almost zero blowback?
Remember at the beginning of that episode, I was trying to like pie Annalise, like, oh, save me, please. I did such a bad job at that, but I had nothing to offer. Like, why would she choose to go with me? It's ridiculous, but I tried anyway. So nonetheless, she's like, okay, no, she'll speak to Werner, blah, blah, blah. So later that night, we had tribal. And now, this is now my process. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. Maybe Werner reconsidered and now I could be let into this alliance. So I didn't want to be like, Werner is the kingpin, because now if he had considered saving me, which my name actually wasn't even in the hat, but if he had considered saving me, then I would shoot myself in the foot. So, but I was just like, okay, there is a kingpin.
So, after 26 days, how does getting your letters from home like impact you mentally and emotionally, like in a positive way? Because it's so taxing out there. How does that give you the boost that you need?
Yes. At about 21 days, I would say you really like are down. That's when you really start to miss your family and friends, and the whole time in the back of your head, like letters from home, and you're like, oh, please, can I just get it? So then when we won that, I was, you don't understand, like I was crying before I even read the letter. So just the anticipation of hearing from your loved one, I think that gives you a morale boost. And I felt so bad because I felt like at that stage, even though we aren't in an alliance or part of them, I felt so bad for Annalise and them. They were devastated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really does. It makes you feel like you can go on for another 26 days. And it's so ironic because I went home that night.
Yeah. I think you even say during a conventional, like, I can go home now because I got this letter, and then you do.
Oh, no! So I jinxed myself, I think. Yeah. If ever I had to play Survivor again, they wanted to give me a letter, I'd be like, no thanks.
So at the next immunity challenge, you and half the tribe drop out the challenge for a bowl of pasta. So what went into your decision to drop out there, and then Tom gobbles more food from you?
Come I tell you, I was hanging on for dear life. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to make it. Like, I knew I wasn't going to make it. Like, I was on the edge, hanging there, and I was like, and I hated myself for it. I was so disappointed because I really needed it. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't for the lack of trying. I really was. So I was like, okay, just one more, like whatever he's going to show now next, I'll decide to jump. And then when I saw, okay, it was Werner that got up. So I was like, okay, if it's just Werner, then I was like, okay, then we share, and maybe I could like chat to him or whatever when I left the rope, everyone left the rope, and there was like 4 of us sharing the pasta. And then I couldn't actually chat. We were sitting next to each other, but I couldn't chat to him because now Tom was sitting next to him. So it was just awkward. So I was like, okay, I'm screwed. Anyway, I accepted my fate and I drank my wine. It was like my last meal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, so your last tribal council ends up being a very crazy one. This is where 3 idols get played and you get your name written down once, and then on the revote, you go over Tom. So walk us through your reaction to going out at such a crazy tribal council.
Well, can I tell you, like in the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm just going to fight. Like, let's just vote Werner. So Tony actually came to me and said, okay, vote Werner. So I'm like, okay, I can't believe her, but I'm going to do it anyway. What do I have to lose? Because I knew I was going to go out because Plessis has the idol and Plessis was going to play it for herself. And then, which I totally understand. It's all about now survival of the fittest. So you do you, boo. So I was like, okay. Then the votes get read out. And I'm like, what is happening? So I was like, and then it's the idols, and then Werner. I was just like, this is just my luck. So it can't even be like a smooth exit. So I just wanted, it had to be crazy. So I was actually very angry with myself that I didn't, in tribal, like speak up or play, like say, advocate for myself more, especially with the second vote. But on the other hand, it wouldn't have helped because Werner knew exactly what he was doing. He's going to save Tom because no freaking one is going to vote for him.
Well.
Yes. So, very.
But hey, I mean, if you're going to go out the game, go out in iconic fashion.
Exactly. Like,
council, so.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Took 3 idols to get you out.
At least, thank you. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
So you do go to the jury, and you have some amazing expressions on the jury as well as the game's unfolding out in front of you. What were your thoughts on the final 2 that you ended up getting, and what went into the vote for Tom?
So the facial expressions. It was just Tom was such a. So he was such a contradiction. So I wanted to also say Jean that says we treated Tom like so badly, and I thanked him always for the food, even though I didn't like him. My mom taught me good manners. I did thank him. So I think John only saw the one side. She never saw that Tom was actually, he was being so rude to Plessis and Vusi and I, and he was shouting at me when I tried to help him with the fish. So why would I do it again? He told me to fuck off. So why will I do it again?
You were trying to kill people. He said you were trying to kill people with the snake.
Yes, with the what? Like this small fish. I don't know how you can choke on it. I wish he choked a bit. But anyway, but survive, but choke a bit. Anyway, so I get why it was crazy, disappointing. Also, so Jean, while I was at merge, didn't do much of anything. She was like really coasting, chilling. Stirred a bit, like she was like living her best life. And then I wish that was my survivor journey. But anyway, so I knew where Tom was coming from. Like it really was a struggle. And I mean, in the beginning. So who am I going to vote for? The girl that really had such an easy time through her whole journey and really didn't do much except at the end. Or the guy who really freaking, I had to save his ass, but he got saved so many times, and he really was a provider. He was a provider for the camp, but boisterous and like didn't think before he spoke. But so well, there was either one or it wasn't the greatest of choices. So it was like that I based it on that. It was horrible.
Right. Right. That makes
But
sense.
We get that
also
out.
the facial expressions, sorry, it was also like Tom that said, oh, he is such a loyal guy and he would play his idol for me. What did he say? I can't remember. And then I was just like, why are you lying? You just told me like you're not gonna play it for me. And I was just like, you're so obnoxious. And I think that's why I just couldn't keep it in anymore. Yes, so it wasn't on purpose. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I didn't know I was doing it that much. It's so bad looking back at it. I was like, oh, damn it. I need to like work on the eye movements a bit.
It was funny though.
I think it was justified, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We also get that amazing quote from PK where he's talking about Sean's game and saying, are you saying doing nothing was a strategy? Are those trees behind you strategists?
Exactly. Oh, PK is hilarious. And come I tell you, Tevin is just as funny, really is. I really enjoyed spending time with PK, the bit I did, but such a nice guy.
So, a question we asked to wrap up is, who would you put on your Survivor Hall of Fame? The best social player, the best strategic player, the best physical player, and an all-rounder?
Okay, so I'm going to speak on my season now. So best. Okay, say best. First one.
Social.
Werner.
Yep.
Oh,
and
damn.
You give it all of it. And strategic.
It's so difficult. I think David was smart, but also dumb at the same time. So it's between Tevin and Werner. He was so clever, Werner.
Werner's just racking them all up.
No, it's bad, but he really was good. And this is coming from me. I was very annoyed with him. So it comes from a good place.
Yeah.
And physical. Yes, he really did. Physical cut and guard. Damn it. I don't know what. I think it was, she was so young, like 90. She was like limber. Did you see the scorpion?
Yeah.
She survived that. Yes. Like she survived that and she did so well in the individual challenges. So definitely Katinka, I think, on physical.
Yeah, I really love Katinka in the season. She really grew from beginning to end her game.
Exactly. She was a bit annoying at first because she was like playing the 19-year-old stupid idiot. And sometimes I was like, is she playing the role? Is she not? It was a touch and go for a while. Is that how she actually is? But anyway.
Yeah.
And the all-rounder, I think Palesa did play a very good game. So definitely Palesa, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
All good answers.
Thank you. Do you agree?
I do. I mean, I'm just surprised you didn't put your BFF Tom in a couple of those. But...
No. Congratulations on winning. He got R1 million for it. So, but he's not making my cut.
Nope.
He's been rewarded enough.
Yes, he's been rewarded.
And then I have some questions to finish this off. If you could pick 1 to 3 words to describe your Survivor legacy, what would those 1 to 3 words be?
Oh, yo. Damn it. That's such a tricky... So, my legacy... I don't know. I think socially, it's so weird. I can't explain. I never looked at. I'm not a braggy person, so I never actually looked back and was like, "Oh, Chane, well done," which I should have done. I mean, but I never looked back and be like, "Yes, I did so well then." It's weird. I think it's not in my personality. I can't think of myself as a legend.
Okay.
Well, I'll say it. I thought you were amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's why I love you. Thank you.
Then here's a new question I'm going to throw out. If you could go back and tell yourself a quick piece of advice for your season, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, man. look for idols more, and definitely, yes, and definitely speak up more. I think I had to speak up more. Like I was playing it down too much at certain points.
Okay.
And put your foot on Tom at that final tribal you were at.
Yep.
I should have.
Oh man, that would change so much.
Yeah.
That would have been so good.
Yeah, exactly.
And then my favorite question to always ask every survivor is, when you close your eyes and you think back to your time on Survivor, what image do you see?
Oh, the beaches. I don't. It's the Philippines. It's the most beautiful place ever. If you ever get the opportunity or can do it, do it. It's such a beautiful place. And afterwards, I got to speak to a bit of the local people, and they're so friendly, so kind. Like in Ponderosa, we got to meet a lot of the staff that work there, and man, it makes me want to go back. I actually want to go back. We're planning on going back in April, but for holiday.
Nice.
I hope I don't get stranded there. But also taking back, what I take from Survivor definitely is how little earthly possessions or whatever you actually need, and how little earthly stuff brings you joy. So it doesn't actually, if you strip away all of that stuff and go down to basics, and you're like, you have food, you have water, and you have a shelter. I mean, that's actually what's so important. Like all the other stuff is just like an extra, and actually brings you extra stress. So it's so weird, but it was definitely such a nice, like a drawback from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very deep, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good answers.
Yes.
Well, my last question is, if you're on social media, where can people follow you at?
Okay, so I have a new surname. It's not Maynard anymore. So it's Chane du Plessis, and I think it's Chane Dupe on Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Yeah. Go follow, and
it's just a bunch of photos of my children right now. It's so boring. I've really bombed up now. It's so bad.
Well, with that, thank you so much, Chane, for hopping on the Tribe of Nerds podcast. And
well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been
Thank
awesome.
Such a pleasure.
I really appreciate it, and it was so nice meeting you guys. Thank you very much.
Of course, yeah.
Thanks.
Well, with that, we will see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.